Hello learners, welcome to session 2 of Unit 2, Test Validity and Reliability in the Course Assessment in Maths Education. I am Kaila Dasmani and we are course instructor for this course. In this session 2 of Unit 2, we are looking at the scope and purpose of a test in mathematics. So as a mathematics teacher, think carefully about the type of test that is required for the particular purpose. So defining the scope and purpose of your tests is very important in your mathematics classroom. By the end of this session, you should be able to explain the scope of mathematics tests. As a mathematics teacher, I should be able to explain the purpose of testing in mathematics. The scope of a mathematics test usually specifies the major content areas to be tested. That's the scope. The major content areas to be tested. Example, maybe you want to test basic numeracy, basic algebra, or problem solving. For instance, the coverage of particular mathematics test may be this for arithmetic operations. We might say 20%. Solving equations, you might say 40%. Basic operations of exponential logarithmic functions, you must also say maybe 40%, or it must include the basic concepts of statistics should also include 10%. So when you combine them, then you get the scope of your test. The scope of a test is the extensiveness of the test process. How extensive is the test is what we refer to as the scope of the test. So let's say a test or a specific test meant to measure certain abilities to perform basic arithmetic operations and solve problems that involve fundamental arithmetic concepts may be set to cover the following. So you want to set a text, maybe a certain specific text to cover these areas. So maybe you want to set that. So the first one, operation with the whole numbers and fractions. So here, because we are looking for a basic operations, so what you do is that this operation with whole numbers and fractions, you might include maybe addition, subtraction, division, and then maybe equivalent fraction and mixed fraction, and they are estimating. Now, operation with decimals and percent also can be included if you want to test students' ability to perform basic arithmetic operations and to solve problems that involve fundamental arithmetic concepts. Then, if you want to include operation with decimals and percent, you think of addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division with decimals. Okay, so and also if you want to test the applications and problem solving, what should be included? So you should include rates, you should also include a percent, and you can may also include measurement, problem solving or measurements, simple problems. You also include simple geometry problems, and then you may also include distribution of quantity into fractional parts, and that is the area you should cover. That is scope of the mathematics test that's in this area. So at high level, a test meant to measure students' abilities to solve problems involving algebra, geometry, trigonometry, and the applications. And maybe when you go to secondary school, you want to conduct a test to cover these areas. What are the content? What should be the scope? So for instance, the first one, operation with algebraic expressions. What should be the scope? So here the scope may include evaluation of simple formulae and expressions, adding and subtracting monomials and polynomials, multiplying and dividing monomials. You can also think of exponents, rational roots, and exponents, simplifying algebraic expression, and factoring. Then this can be the operation with algebraic expressions. How about solution of equations, inequalities, and word problems? You want to measure higher level student knowledge about that. Solutions of equations, inequalities, and word problems. What should be the scope? So the scope may include solving linear equations and inequalities, solving quadratic equations by factorizing, solving word problems, maybe presented in algebraic context, including geometric reasoning and graphing, and solving system of linear equations and inequalities. may cover the area. What about the coordinate geometry? I want higher level, I want to cover the content, the scope of coordinate geometry. You may think of plane geometry, the coordinate plane, straight lines, set of points in the plane. You might also think of graphs of algebraic functions. Let's see a few of them. All applications and other algebra areas or topics. You can also think of series and sequence, determinant, permutation and combinations, factorials, and then word problems. What about the functions? If you want to cover functions at high level, the scope. The scope may include the polynomial, exponential, and then logarithmic functions. What about the trigonometric functions? I want to cover trigonometry at higher level. You might think of trigonometric ratios and simple identities. So it's very important. The scope of your mathematics text must be very important when you want to measure students' ability. Okay, so let's look at forms of classroom tests. Classroom tests in mathematics can take various forms depending on the intention of the teacher for conducting the tests. So most of mathematics questions state a mathematics problem or exercise that requires a student to write a freehand response. Okay, so let's look at the forms. The first form is diagnostic mathematics test. This measures students' understanding of mathematics, content, or mathematics scores. Diagnostic tests help teachers to determine students' scores and prior knowledge. So once a test helps teachers to determine students' scores and prior knowledge, then we say that is diagnostic test. Teacher conduct diagnostic tests for mathematics scores with the intention of using the results to provide remedial instructions or place students within appropriate cooperating grouping. So you can conduct diagnostic mathematics tests if you want to introduce a topic to know the student prior knowledge. Based on that, you know how to structure your teaching lesson or lesson note. So teachers use mathematics diagnostic tests to boost student achievement in mathematics by encouraging high achievers and also offering remedial instruction to those who have some difficulties. Once you conduct diagnostic tests, you realize that some students are very good. What do? You encourage them to learn very high, and you can give them maybe another task. Then you realize that people couldn't do, some of your students couldn't do. Then you have to give them a remedial or do a remediation. Teach them, make sure they understand. So that is the essence of diagnostic mathematics tests. Forms of classroom tests. So we can have another form to be discipline-specific conceptual mathematics diagnostic tests. Actually, this text aims to trick students or to reveal whether they hold common misconception about a content area in mathematics. The answer choices on these multiple choice tests are often designed to trigger common misconception about a discipline. Thus, by ensuring the student has a clear understanding of the concept. For example, Ben's father is a professor of mathematics. He has 4 boys. 3 of them are addition, subtraction, and multiplication. What is the name of the 4th boy? You can see that the answer is clear. Another example is always true, sometimes true, never true type questions. So it is very important that you should also incorporate discipline-specific conceptual mathematics text in your classroom, and this will help you to review whether the hold common misconception about content area in mathematics or not. Another instance is if you want to find, let's say I want to find a perimeter of triangle. I can say that the length of triangles are 8 centimeters, 4 centimeters, and maybe 12 centimeters. And one of its angles is 30 degrees. Find the perimeter. So from here, you can see that the 30 degrees you're giving in angle will not contribute to the perimeter. So here you test to see if students actually understand the perimeter of a triangle, so that when they are calculating for the perimeter, they will not include the angle. So discipline specific conceptual mathematics text is very, very important. Let's see the next one, that is conceptual diagnostic text. This text identifies weak areas of key understanding and also aim to neutralize the effect of good test taking skill. This means knowledge of a topic not testing is being tested. Knowledge of a topic not test taking is being tested. So common type of classroom tests like the multiple choice test, true, false test, short answer test, open book test, or weekly oral test, or you can say monthly or midterm test will be discussed in the subsequent section. So we have a lot of them that we discuss them in the subsequent section. Purpose of a test. Purpose of a test. First one is to assess how well students are achieving stated goals and course objectives. Test measure the performance of candidates in a mathematics test, lesson or topic, and thus tell the teacher whether the objectives of the course or lesson have been achieved or not. So that just helps to inform you, the teacher, about the progress that their students are making in mathematics tests. Good. To enable teachers to gather information about the performance of the students in mathematics tests. So classroom tests in mathematics can reveal the challenging areas of students. So using a classroom test to diagnose the difficulties a student may have in some mathematics content areas. So that is classroom test. A test may show that student has a problem with solving problems in factoring quadratic equations or constructing quadrilaterals and locals. So once you conduct tests, you may be able to know the difficulty areas your students are facing, and with that insight, you can provide a solution for that. To provide a record for assigning grades. Classroom mathematics tests can be used to place students into a particular class grouping, or placement or promotion to another class. So this provides information to the teacher to classify students either underperforming who need more attention, average learners, and high achievers who can be used to assess other learners in mathematics. So it's very, very important as far as tests is concerned. Classroom mathematics tests are also used to predict outcomes. In this instance, we are referring to whether or not a student will be able to do well in mathematics quiz competition, whether or not student will be able to study mathematics or mathematics related courses in college or university. So based on tests you conduct, you could be able to predict the outcome of the student future performance, whether the student can actually go and then read mathematics at tertiary institution or national math and science quiz, if you can actually, the student can present the school or any test. So another one of purpose of classroom tests is to motivate students to learn. According to Davis 2004 and Staging Sector 2004, they indicate that students become motivated and confident learners when they experience progress and achievement. So here, if the feedback on the test is made known to students, they can use it to inform and guide their learning. So in that instant, it motivates students to learn subsequent materials very well. The test results are motivation. In this instant, I will say the feedback on student tests is very important as far as mathematics learning is concerned. So this section, we've looked at scope of mathematics tests, and we say the extensiveness of the test process. We've also looked at diagnostics mathematics tests that measure students' understanding of mathematics content or mathematics course. So tests are very important. We look at the number of importance of mathematics tests. Find more of their importance in your course material.